Britney Spears has a new advocate in her corner after a judge granted her request to hire her own attorney. Spears appeared in court giving another emotional testimony, describing what she calls the cruelty of her conservator father removed as her conservator. She wants to press charges against him. Kaylee Hartung has the latest from Los Angeles.
Britney Spears' father, Jamie, charged with conservatorship abuse, telling a judge, investigate him. The 39-year-old who called into the hearing forcefully saying, I am here to get rid of my dad. My dad needs to be removed today. Asking the judge for the second time in less than a month to end the conservatorship that's run her life for the last 13 years. Without any further medical evaluation, questioned my intelligence for the millionth time. Spears describing how she was at times forced to work 70-hour weeks while under the conservatorship, saying, I thought they were trying to kill me. Hair vitamins. She even had her driver's license taken away from her, saying that's not abuse, that's just cruelty. In court Wednesday, Jamie refusing to step down from his role as conservator of her estate, managing her estimated attorney, saying the star made a lot of misstatements, whether it's misinformation, lack of correction, or being wrongly advised. I don't know. But in a win for Britney, the judge granted her Matthew Rosengart, who's previously represented stars like Sean Penn and Julia Louis-Dreyfus, take over as her attorney.
Now, are you sure you want a piece of me?
Is what is in the best interest of Britney Spears. We will be moving promptly and aggressively for his removal. The question remains, why is he voluntarily, as that is in the best interest of Britney Spears?
Overnight, Spears posting this video on Instagram, writing, coming along, no idea what it means to me to be supported by such awesome fans. This is me celebrating by horseback riding and doing cartwheels today, and using for the first time that now infamous hashtag, Free Britney. And Diane, putting this new attorney, Matthew Rosengart, in place, it's critical for Britney to move this case forward. And he was met with cheers as he left the courthouse. He did attend the hearing. Movement were waiting outside there for him. Like we said, this was a win for Britney. But make no mistake, Britney wants this conservatorship to end, though she said she's comfortable with Jody Montgomery, her conservator of person. Process plays out, but what she wants right now is her father gone. Diane.
All right, Kaylee Hartung, thanks for that. And let's dig in a little deeper now. For more on this, I'd like to bring in family attorney and former psychologist David Glass. David, thanks for being here. You were actually one of only 10 members of the public for this hearing. So give us a rundown. What did you see?
Well, it was a relatively wild and hot hearing. The courtroom was packed. The air conditioner wasn't really working very well. Movement by the court was to appoint Britney's new attorney, and that's a huge win for her. She feels like she has her own advocate, and she's going to have her own plan for getting out of this. From that point, the hearing relatively went downhill into what one attorney described as lawyers gone wild.
And explain, why was that description used? What happened in the courtroom?
Was the attorney for the conservator of the estate for Jamie and the attorney for the conservator of the person, Jody Montgomery, they were lobbing accusations back and forth. Jamie Spears is the cause of all the problems, and Jamie's attorney trying to explain that the things that Britney's complaining about, her medical treatment, her psychological treatment, her lack of having hair vitamins, the conservator of the person decides. So they were lobbing accusations back and forth until finally the court said that everyone needed to figure out how to get along and to work more collaboratively.
So now Britney said that she wants her dad investigated, and Jamie Spears said he would like the court to investigate her claims. Also, as you point out, most of Britney's complaints in court have been related to decisions that are generally made, not Jamie Spears, who only controls her finances. And yet, as Kaylee points out, she said in court that she's actually okay with Jody Montgomery staying on as her conservator of the person. What do you make of all of that?
There's a lot of confusion on Britney's side. I'm glad that she has her own attorney and that she's going to work closely with this attorney. It appears that Britney has a lot of misinformation, is not remembering maybe some of the events correctly, and is in a relatively immature way trying to blame her whole predicament on her father, ignoring, at least for the moment, that he was the person who stepped in. And that in the last 13 years, he helped grow her estate from less than $3 million under his control to over $60 million under his control, which is a relatively remarkable thing for any sort of person with money.
Yeah, I mean, the money looks good, that's for sure. But we also heard from Britney that she's saying she was forced to work 7 days a week and you know, these huge amount of hours a day, forced to work against her will, etc. So I just wonder, when you've heard from Jamie Spears in court yet, he hasn't been able to speak in his own defense just yet, and Jody Montgomery hasn't been questioned in court. So how do you think we're going to see this whole aspect of the case evolve? Jamie's removed, and that he maybe faces legal repercussions here?
You know, Diane, up until yesterday's hearing, I was doubtful that Jamie would be removed, but it feels like public opinion is clearly turned against him. Presence have turned against him. And he was asked a direct question by Britney's new attorney: how come you haven't voluntarily resigned? Everyone seems to have a problem with you, and yet you're still here. And thinking back to my time as a therapist, sometimes when family members try to get involved in helping a daughter or a brother get better, sometimes they merely need to step back and let someone else step in to try and help that family member because they've done all that they can do. And that's where I think this case is moving very rapidly, that Jamie is going to need to, or the court's going to have to take very seriously Britney's request to have him removed in order for the case to move forward. Ultimately, what Britney wants is for the whole conservatorship to be taken away.
And now you've heard Britney on 2 occasions in the former psychologist. What did you think of her testimony?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think Britney is helping herself with her own testimony. In particular, yesterday in the hearing, she first asked that her testimony be sealed. And when her attorney stepped up to argue to the court should be cleared so no one would hear her testimony, she interrupted him and said she wanted to speak anyway. And so going forward, Britney really needs to work with her attorney and his team of attorneys and publicity people and media people to figure out what her strategy is going to be. I've worked with clients and I've explained to them in rather glib terms, turn your slippers and march around the courtroom backwards 3 times. That's what you do, because the judge is the person who's going to ultimately decide how your case is decided. And she needs to start listening to her attorneys to figure out how to present her case in the absolute best way.
All right, family attorney and former psychologist David Glass.
Thanks for having me.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel and don't breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.